And that is what I'm here to talk to Kangana about today. Women, feminism, and the new Indian woman. Is there such a thing, or is that just a media cliche? And I'm just going to read out a brief passage to set the stage for our conversation. This is from my book. In today's India, the millennial generation has thrown up what I call the new rebels. Young women are embracing things that were once taboo, or words that are typically used as pejoratives against them, and converting them into provocative statements of power. So whether these are slut walks or slogans of equality scribbled on sanitary napkins that are now plastered across campus walls, the urban feminist in India is looking for a fresh idiom to express herself in. The clash between the old feminism and the new was reflected in the cultural debate triggered by the Nirbhaya rape. On one of my shows soon after the Delhi rape, veteran actress Shabana Azmi and the much younger star Priyanka Chopra got into a raging argument over what Hindi films call the item number. While Indian society remains puritanical and closed when it comes to talking openly about sex, the portrayal of women in popular culture is now hypersexualized like never before. Is the formal advent of the item girl in Indian films a flamboyant serenade extraneous to the plot and inserted just for its in-your-face sexuality? Is it a sign of emancipation or another manifestation of the male gaze? Shabana believed it was the latter and called for women in the industry to make informed decisions about songs that were sexualizing even little girls who would then repeat the pouty lyrics at weddings. But look at the lyrics. Did women really want to be referred to as tandoori murgi or chikli chameli? Priyanka argued that it was all about choice and that free choice was the cornerstone of all feminism. Had someone asked me to take a side, I would have found it difficult. I remember feeling entirely conflicted when during the course of a television debate on censorship, I met Mumaid Khan, a sultry beauty best known for her gyrating and pouting to the camera. At one point, springing to her feet, she pointed to the short skirt riding up her toned thighs and proclaimed aggressively that this was the freedom women wanted. The age of draping women only in salwar kameezes was over, she yelled to thunderous applause. As a young Muslim from a conservative Lucknow family, she had defied several norms and cultural assumptions. But in the process, had she just adopted an alternative stereotype where her freedom was to be defined by a camera traveling up to her leg. So this is just a passage from the book, and thank you so much. And my guest today is somebody who I believe has rewritten a lot of the old rules in the film industry. Not just that, she is refreshingly candid, she is not politically correct, and she speaks her mind. And over and above all that, her film Queen, according to me, is absolutely inspirational for young women who are looking to break free from old shackles. So thank you so much, Kangana Ranaut. Let's welcome Kangana to this evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And congratulations.
Thank you. I want you to talk a little bit about your own journey from being a small town girl in Himachal Pradesh to getting to this point. From growing up in a family where you have quite openly admitted that your family was more favorably disposed towards your brother, and in some ways openly discriminated against you, to the point that one day you decided you were going to run away from home.
I think this kind of discrimination exists even today, and I won't say there was anything unusual about my childhood, but I appreciate the fact that today we talk so much about women empowerment, and I don't know how much of difference it's making, but I think for the children who are growing up and the women who are going to be now genuinely extending their schools and their teens, they at least will understand there's something wrong in being discriminated, as opposed to us who growing up didn't see it as something which was wrong. Like I thought that it's a matter of fact that being a girl child is a liability on our parents, and
you felt like a liability?
Yes, and because there was no other perspective that we had growing up. I felt that it's fair for my parents to feel that taking care of a girl child, like, because these conversations were everyday thing, that you raise a child and you invest so much in her education, and then she goes about to basically take care of someone else's house, and there's so much time that you have to. So it's basically not a very good scenario for them, and as opposed to a son who just brings another person to work at their houses, or brings a lot of money along with other gifts for the families. This is how actually middle class families feel, who struggle to make the ends meet. So then those
The girl is liability.
yeah.
Did you
a
feel
lot.
like a liability growing
No,
up?
I felt, well, for me, like I felt what they feel is there's nothing wrong in what they feel, but I didn't feel that I am any less than my brother or, you know, and I'm just a, you know, someone who they have to take care of. I felt quite independent, but that's very rare.
But your parents also want you to get you married off at 16.
Not really. I had pressure of, you know, studying and things like that. But my parents, you know, I come from a joint family and they had, you know, their own pressures on them. But yeah, they definitely didn't think of me doing something other than getting married and taking care of my household.
What made you finally take the decision to almost run away from home, come here to the city where you had no sugar daddy, you knew nobody?
Yeah.
People made fun.
Myself as someone who's any less than my brother or anyone else, and that's something that drives you to just find yourself and your worth. I didn't have any clarity that I want to be an actress or I want to change the world or do this, but that frustration that I can't be what you think I am, you know. I can't be such a useless person who's just good for nothing and just, you know, do post graduation, then they'll find a guy for me, and then I go about, you know, making babies. So I did have a lot of doubts about that system, but I had, you know, so many doubts about my own choices in life.
How difficult was it for you when you came here?
Very difficult. I mean, it's quite harsh, and I don't have to go into the details of it, but
But you went days without food, you slept on the pavement.
yeah, and then I fell for a trap. Like, you know, I was physically abused, and I, you know,
By whom?
you know, like I don't want to take names, and
By people in the industry.
yeah, yes, people, you know, when they see needy people, and it's just not that you do fall for those traps, and you do feel that you know, people sometimes might help you without, you know, but there are no free lunches, right? So when you're naive, you're young, you kind of you do, you know, fall for those very conventional, you know, discover yourself. Where I feel there are as many people, as many stories, as many women, and we need to encourage women, our women, to be who they are, as opposed to trying to box them and fit them. This one is attractive, this one is, you know, Benji type, this one is intellectual, and this one is a baddie, you know, badass who has boyfriends. And we're close like this. So we need to stop boxing our women.
Yeah, go beyond the stereotypes and
Yes.
the cliches. You were one of the first people, at least I think you were the first person I ever heard in the industry who asked why women are not paid as much as men. And I've heard the counter argument that women don't bring as many audiences, they don't, you know, do as well for the distributors. How sexist, how this say we need to be paid more? Did you answer that question?
Oh yeah, I think we are made to feel extremely, you know, because I don't know, this is the mentality where in India we have that overtly ambitious women is just kind of looked down upon, which is also very, very, you know, I don't think that's the case though. They will make you feel that way, that if you're being overtly ambitious, you are definitely not, you know, no one's going to admire you and you're not a nice person. But then, in my experience, more successful I get, you know, I see a lot more proposals from men. Why is that then? Isn't it? Like, you know, I've been around for like some 10 years, and more successful I get, more crazy they get. Why is that? And these are the same guys, you know, who will tell me that, you know, the date Shani kisi ko achhi nahi lagti. You know, and these are the same guys now, you know, head over heels. So why is that? I want to know that.
Yeah, there's no Meryl Streep in it here.
Yeah.
Is that frustrating? Do you work in this industry knowing that the men are going to be forever young while the women are put on the shelf and, well, most people seem to have 5-6 years if they're lucky. How does that make you feel?
Again, I think it's just the way, it's a kind of manipulation. They manipulate us to feel that way, to believe that way. But it's not true. If that was true, I mean, who remember the last glamorous hot bod face? Everyone remembers Datto, you know, like the woman that I played with Buffy.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers Queen. Our society loves raw character. We love raw women. We don't love our mother because she's hot and sexy. We love our mother because she's our mother. You know, and we love our granny because she's our granny. We value her. don't remember anyone's face from our childhood. We love our granny's face, you know. So our society loves. If that wasn't the case, why would Dattu be such an iconic character? You know, my Krish character is not iconic. The one where I played really hot as mutant.
But yet the men last longer than the women in the role of hero.
Because they make us believe that. They don't want us to be, they want us to be a certain way. They make us lose our identity. It's a trap. It's a trap. We need to be aware of this trap. They will make you lose your identity, and then you won't like yourself, they won't like you either. So when a man says that, oh, you're not 16, or you're not 15, there you have your first wrinkle. You know, don't hate yourself for that. Love yourself, you know, he'll follow you. So we need to love ourselves first. You know, we are desperate to look all the time a certain way, but in my experience, I can only speak for myself. All my hot characters or whatever, I mean, by the grace of God, I never got any attention. But the day I played real women, you know, and that we can't give credit to the industry. We have to give that credit to our audiences, our population. They love real characters. They love raw women, and I don't care. Why would anyone care if Queen is actually 27 or 37? It hardly makes a difference.
Yeah.
What difference does it make? If it doesn't make a difference to film industry, they wouldn't want you to feel that way. You get extremely threatened, you know. So I mean, we don't have to fall for that. Try to be aware of your gifts.
One of the things I really applaud you for is that you had a 2 crore rupee offer to do a fairness cream ad, and you not just turned it down. You said you're embarrassed and ashamed of every colleague of yours in the industry, and this includes both men and women and some of the biggest stars who do market fairness products. What made you say?
Like I said, I really thank my ex, a white guy who I was dating, because growing up, I didn't come through conversations like this, and I thank you and people like you who, I don't know how much change people like you can bring about, but at least you're talking about it. The one who is willing to have that awareness, or maybe fortunate enough to have that awareness, would actually get it from you know. So growing up, I didn't see anything wrong with fairness cream. In fact, I thought it was actually cool to be fair or not to be fair.
Did you use them growing up?
I think I was quite pale growing up. I didn't need it, but like I said, I didn't see anything wrong with fairness cream. But when I was dating this white guy, he teased me like, "Oh, you guys are so funny. You openly sell fairness cream. It's not acceptable, you know." And I'm like, "Why is that?" It's like, because it's not acceptable that you're trying to tell your race that you shouldn't be this way, and should and that's the time actually I realized that what we are doing, how we are sort of giving our generation complexes and not letting them be confident and not letting them find beauty in their own race, And it's just this whole new world opened up to me, and I'm like, what are we doing as people? The whole world is laughing at us, And he used to tease me that, so you must be thinking that I am fair and lovely because I'm white. And I hated that. And I think in a relationship also, you wouldn't want to have the other person have that kind of upper hand because you as population behaving so stupid, So
what do you think of your colleagues who do market fair and lovely or fairness products?
Fairness products, I think it's very, very irresponsible. If tomorrow I have a dark kid, who's got, who's like I said, dark. I don't want my kid to think that he needs to get lighter or he needs to get lighter. I would be extremely embarrassed and wouldn't know how to deal with the situation if my child is watching that advert. I wouldn't know how to tell him or her that it's supposed to be that way. I wouldn't know because the whole world is saying something else, and I would be in a very, very awkward situation.
So you're embarrassed by your colleagues in the industry who market these products?
You need a headline, don't you?
And you're giving me one. No, but speak openly. Yeah.
Speak openly.
Wow. Do you feel angry when you see others do it? Do you feel contempt? Do you just ignore it?
Well, I definitely feel embarrassed. We don't have to be fair. There's so many things we can work on, but definitely not our complexion. We are perfect. And I mean, obviously, like I said, beauty is everywhere, but we need to make our women confident. We need to let them find their confidence. And when you show an advert where a brown person goes for an interview and gets humiliated, and then she goes back and puts on this thing and goes back being a little bit more lighter and get the job. I mean, what you saying? Like, I mean, come on, like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, I agree. Your sister was the victim of an acid attack, and you really helped her through it and got her back on her feet. But speak a little bit about how that experience shaped you and your views on violence against women. What you saw your sister do.
Well, my sister is an acid attack survivor, and she's got a hero of her own. I really can't speak for herself, but I can.
But for you to watch her going through what she had after that.
I don't know, I just feel that we are just so all over the world, not just in India, just women, and success is so overrated, because anyway, nothing lasts. So rejection is so hard to deal with for anyone. And people who, like growing up in schools also, coming first was such a big deal, even my own family, like how the kind of trauma I had to go through when the year I didn't stand first. My parents treated me like, oh my God, you've done some sort of crime.
Yeah.
So that kind of attitude. So I think, especially men, there's no acceptance for the fact that this woman doesn't want me or she doesn't have feeling for me.
This was the rejected suitor.
Yeah, I mean, usually that is the intention. Or I think 90% violence against women, that kind of rejection triggers it. That if I can't acquire you,
to accept no as no.
yes. So I've been through struggle for 10 years, and I think what shaped me up as a person today, I don't know how much success people see me as, that is very external sort of aspect of one's growth, but within me, I think I'm a very successful person on a very personal level, because the way I dealt with my failures has been very, very heroic, and I would like to write a book about that how, success will never teach you anything, and failures, when you lose something, how to deal with it and not lose your self-respect and your self-worth. If 10 years of rejection, humiliation, embarrassment,
you're talking about yourself.
My own self, if that would have made me believe in what the whole world thought of me as, like they thought of me as a loser or whatever, I didn't think of myself as that. I didn't think of myself as what my parents thought of me or the world thought of me. And that's why I could do what I did in my life. So I feel, no matter what kind of crime is there, we need to tell our children it's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong in failing. Nothing lasts forever. So that kind of spirit has to be there,
What was the toughest thing for you in these 10 years? And what was the most cruel thing you heard said about yourself?
I think body shaming is one.
Body shaming?
Yeah. And journalists told me, look at this girl from mountains who has frizzy hair and a lizard-like body.
A journalist wrote that?
Yeah, in a video of gangster, it's like a body like a lizard or something. And I'm like, okay. That was.
And people made fun of your accent, they call you the Pahari Ladki. You taught yourself English. Why was that important to you?
It was important to me because I wanted to reach out to many people. I don't always see failure and criticism as something which is out to destroy me. I definitely can't do anymore deserving, but whatever, I think all the criticism that I get, I have a very objective point of view to that, and I've been always like that, and that really helped me and shaped my personality. I wanted to reach out to many people, especially in Mumbai, where not many people speak Hindi.
Yeah.
And
So how did you teach yourself?
I have a tutor. I works on my accent and on my language when I get time. So the idea is to reach out to as many people I do, and we travel a lot, and sometimes I get to attend these very significant summits and all of that. So I want to reach out to many people. Like my parents made me feel like all the time I was like, just go and do things like that. So I had to sort of, have this this thing, okay fine, I must be a baddie, but I want this, I want to do this. So I'm very comfortable with being a baddie. Whereas I feel the need to let our girls be like as if overly ambitious. But people said, oh, you were so ambitious, and Dave Shani kisi opportunity lagti hai. I remember someone telling me that. I was okay with that. I don't feel anything wrong in being Dave Shani. That's your definition of a smart woman. I even don't mind calling myself a bitch, but I do have a different definition for that. Being total control of herself. So that's okay. People can call me names,
But this is a new trend. It's very interesting. That's what I write about in my book. That today, the urban feminist especially is embracing, what a slut used to be a bad word. Now you have slut walks. There used to be shame around menstruation. Now you have people actually pinning sanitary pads on campuses. You're saying I'll embrace the word bitch. This is interesting. But we still can't seem to answer a very simple question. Are you a feminist? Without women going into yes, no, maybe, if, but. So let me ask you, are you a feminist?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that there is a simple answer to that question and there is only one answer. As we close, you have been very blunt. You said, you've trashed awards, film awards. You said it's a sham. You said I don't need to take selfies to be in the video. When you make these kind of remarks, do people in your industry just hate you? Do they still call you to their parties?
Well, there is a lot of prejudice around me, I'd say.
A lot of prejudice.
Yeah. And people just, the simpler you get, more complicated you seem, isn't it? I don't know why is that, but the way they approach me is like, they're posting like I'm a time bomb, which can explode anytime. So it's like, can we talk? Yes, we can. You don't have to give that warning, sort of walk. So I don't know why is that, because in my understanding of me, I am what I say, and I am the most honest person about my past, about my present, and the person I am, and still I seem so threatening is beyond me. But again, that doesn't distort my understanding of myself.
You've never doubted yourself?
No, I'm not that dangerous. I could be that dangerous.
But you come here knowing nobody, you go without food, money, you sleep on the pavements, you now told us you even experience physical abuse when you fell into a trap. When you go through abuse changes, right? And this is something I've spoken about, it changes all of us who experience it. How did that experience of physical abuse change you?
But when this man, who must be my father's age, he hit me so hard that my head was, I fell on my head on the floor, I started to bleed. And I must have been like 17 or something. And I picked up my sandal and I hit his head hard and started to bleed as well. But then obviously his physical strength took over mine, and I struggled. And I struggled so much that I couldn't believe that I had so much strength that either I die or I kill you. And then I went to cops and I lodged an FIR against this man. But that day I really saw myself as who I always thought I was, but I never really tested myself under such extreme situations. But that sort of clarified my own understanding of myself, so I thought I'm actually a born fighter.
And was the man ever punished?
He wasn't punished. He was just given a warning that stop stalking this woman, and if we will see you around, and he has good report. So,
was he a powerful person in the industry or not?
Well, for a struggler, I mean, who doesn't have a...
So he's a member of the industry?
Yes.
And how did that experience change you? As a woman, you recognized the fight, you recognized the spunk in you.
Yeah.
But did it change you? Did it make you cynical? Did it make you...
It made me feel badass. It made me feel badass. Like, I do not now even like anyone raising their voice on me. It made me so violent of my own personal and intimate space that it's amazing how guarded I became. Which I love. I absolutely love. And I think after going through that extreme experience at that young age, it just made me understand my own strengths and weaknesses.
So as we end, your message to women who may be struggling, who may be fighting, your own journey and the message you take away from that, just the last thought.
Just be yourself, you know, see yourself the way you are. There's no message as such.
But be yourself.
Yeah.
That's difficult enough for so many women.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. Well, thank you. I think
Thank
your
you.
journey is remarkable.